Hey everybody, welcome
Hello.
to the Stellaris live stream. So today we have a missing Martin and
Yeah, he's out
Blondie.
sick today,
They're
sadly.
both sick today, so
Yeah.
we are replacing them.
Yes.
Hopefully for all time, take over the Stellaris game team. So my name is Dale Emissary. I work on the community team for Stellaris, and with me is Daniel Morica.
Yeah,
And
game
you are
designer on
game designer.
Stellaris.
Cool.
And you're the man responsible for all the awesome tweets, right?
Yeah, between myself and our community ambassador, Christoph. We have a lot of fun with those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, today, just a caveat, we're not going to be talking about announced dates or release dates or anything like this
No.
for the future DLC. What we do want to do, though, we released a dev diary about an hour ago, which is now live on the forums. It's going up live on Steam later, and you can get to it from the launcher in the game. But we wanted to discuss some of these things, right? That you posted in the dev diary, which is traditions, updates to these traditions within Le Guin 2.2.
Exactly. We were thinking that I'll just jump in and show some of the more special traditions that. For example, if you're playing the Gestalt empires, like which traditions get swapped out and such, because I didn't post them.
I think
in the
that
thread.
was one of the first few comments within the thread.
Probably.
Talking about Gestalt consciousness and hive mind. So
I'm just gonna take something that has as well as. Let's take an assimilator. I'm just gonna edit it to what am I looking for? Civics. We're just gonna change it to exterminator so we can see if there's anything.
Stream? What do you mean troll stream? Wow.
More detailed.
My hurts our feelings.
Yeah, troll stream. We're just gonna start it up and then shut it down immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into it. I think that the sort of what I wrote a little bit about in the forums, like when we obviously we've talked about a lot of the reworks with the economy and the planet system and things like that coming in 2.2, and to facilitate all these new systems we obviously need to rework a lot of our traditions. So I'm probably just gonna start by going through them just like we did with on the dev diary, but just maybe talk a little bit more in depth and detail.
For sure.
So expansion traditions now increase your colony development speed like it did before. That's not changed, but the finisher effect is now you require 5 pops to upgrade your colony shelter instead of 10.
Right.
Which is kind of a unique and cool effect. Starbase influence cost the same, but here's some new things like administrative cap. Up here we have something called empire size, and whenever your empire size gets larger than your administrative cap, you actually start incurring penalties and technology cost, tradition cost, leader cost and upkeep, and campaigns and so forth. We can't see it right now because we don't have the empire size, but I think the technology cost is like if your empire size is 10 above your admin cap, I believe you have a technology cost that's 3% higher for every 10.
So the larger you go without having the proper infrastructure, the more penalties you're gonna incur, right?
I posted a picture of it on the forum if you want to see the math.
Yeah. There was a lot of
detail.
pictures on that post, by
it
the way.
took me like 2 hours to do. It was stupidly detailed.
Yeah, I think people appreciated the amount of screenshots that you posted on there.
I was kind of regretting posting any screenshots because some people just complaining about the descriptions.
Well, let's go through some of those descriptions then.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the same. You get 1 pop. And instead of growth speed here for regular empires, you have pop assembly speed, because you need to assemble your robots as a machine empire. So similar effect, just a little bit different. Yeah. But people might recognize that it's also swapped the shape a little bit here. Like most traditions now use this sort of shape. We have like 3 and 2 in a tree. Okay. It's just because like it balanced out better.
Yeah, I mean, we're always going to see a little bit of change in you know, that how the different trades and traditions work, and refinement is always going to happen with these huge updates. So it's an inevitable thing. To do CD confirmed.
Indeed. Eklund, please, etc.
So Edward Lego says penalty based on absolute difference between cap size of empire or relative.
No, it's just like for every empire size above your cap, you get a certain amount that's static.
Okay,
so it's not relative. It's
it's
the amount of empire size above, unless I'm mistaken. But I think that's the case.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, domination tree is probably the one that's been reworked the most, possibly, because previously was very vassal focused, whereas now it's more focused to like sort of promoting your ruling class above your workers, or sort of suppressing your workers.
Right, so it builds into the new planetary system
exactly
a lot better than, obviously, that with that big change, and it's something that I think we should be clear with the community. There's so much changing in 2.2 that a lot of these traditions had to reflect that. And that's why the shape of the ascensions is like different, and also why we've had to rebalance.
Some people like the government level cap thing is still there, but now we have something here, modular depots. This one is actually unique for gestalt consciousness empires. So maintenance depots now also increase housing by 2. And here you have ruler level cap increased by 2. Crime reduction on all planets. All gestalt consciousness empires have this one instead of increasing enforcers efficiency, but they will have different names depending on if you're playing machine or hive mind.
There's a few people already that are very happy about domination being reworked.
Domination is great now, by the way. I'm just gonna sort of run through these. Prosperity, it's sort of more aligned towards or themed towards prosperity, obviously. Sort of like becoming more efficient in your economy, better specialists, get more out of your planets, basically, sort of things like that.
Okay.
So here we have building upkeep and district upkeep reduced, complex drone specialist. Complex drone output. That's the same thing as the specialist for regular empires. So because we're a machine empire, we have, instead of workers, specialists, and rulers, we have menial drones and complex drones.
Yeah. So they're again the different classes of your population,
exactly,
so to speak.
What else? Yeah, we have monthly energy credits output. We have the building cost reduction and build speed increase. And then here we have optimized nexuses, so that our nexus districts provide more housing. And nexus districts, that's the city district.
Yeah.
Synchronicity here is a bit different. Because we're playing a machine empire, instead of having reduced food consumption, we have a reduced robot upkeep.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
This one is the same. Instead of leader lifespan, it's that your leaders get less likely to malfunction.
So I have a question on the domination tree from Ken Vervestein. How will vassalizing and making tributaries work with now domination no longer gives you the option to do it?
Sorry? I was got distracted by...
So how will vassalizing and making tributaries work now that domination no longer gives you the option of doing it?
Vassalization will no longer be locked by the domination traditions, so it will be available for everyone, prone to change. But that's what it's currently working with. Something we've done is like we've removed most of the building unlocks for traditions, because we never really felt that they sort of fit very well. It always felt a little bit weird that you unlocked buildings from the tradition, so we usually like sort of try to re-theme the building, the unique buildings we had, into something that's more already incorporated in the economy and the building systems. So instead of like, for example, the more special unique buildings here, like the Paradise Dome, we have a reduced pop amenities usage, which is pretty good. And here's a unique one for Gestalt ones. So we have that the maintenance depots give us more maintenance drone jobs, which is pretty useful.
Okay. And that is specific to the Gestalt consciousness.
Yeah, because Gestalt consciousness empires, they get more jobs usually.
Right.
Instead of getting access to other things. So for example, while a regular empire might like balance their economy through like trade or more specialized types of jobs, the Gestalt consciousness empires will sort of balance their own economy by getting more jobs from their districts and stuff like that.
Okay.
So getting more jobs from your buildings will also be sort of fit that theme.
Okay, awesome. We're being requested next time to stream in Blorg togas.
Who's providing them?
I'm not sure, but that comes from Harlot, our community ambassador on Stellaris. So he likes to troll us.
Fair enough. It's a good question here. Admin cap malus on research cost on top of the existing population colony cost. No. That system is completely reworked. Like all the penalties you will get to tradition cost, technology cost, etc., it's all fit into the empire size right now.
Right.
So empire size is what you have to look at, basically.
So again, a little bit more rebalancing and changing of how the base mechanics work.
Yeah, and a lot of the old text that used to give core empire size, they now give admin cap instead.
Oh, okay.
So the Ascension Imperial Prerogative, for example, now gives admin cap.
It's a lot clearer for people to see where the thresholds are and not go over them, essentially.
Hopefully. Especially like you will see it, in the top bar now, because you will see your empire size and you can see that like, if you're above it, you'll get these penalties.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad to grow, it just means that
no, you're just going to maybe pay a little bit more in terms of your resources.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something that's also sort of gone now is like we don't have the unity increasing traditions anymore, so you won't be able to like get your traditions as quickly anymore because getting the modifiers to boost your unity production will be harder to get.
Well, that's going to change my playstyle completely.
Yes.
And I'm sure everyone else in chat as well is just thinking, well, I'm going to have to play so different now.
Yeah, it's not as easy to get all the stuff anymore.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's cool. That's cool. Any questions we have here?
I'm just gonna go through them all, or the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
Something that's changed with Supremacy is that Supremacy is now a lot more themed around having a large and powerful fleet and having, powerful and many star bases. So we can see here, we still have the starbase capacity in here. We moved some stuff around, so now we also have army damage in here. This one is the same, I think. But we also have a reduced ship build cost. I can't remember right now if that was in before or not. I think this one might be the same.
I believe so, but I'm going to be honest, I went mostly domination even before.
Yeah. But this one is usually, or previously, it was in Prosperity, which was the fleet logistics core that reduced ship upkeep by 10%.
Right.
But it's now ship upkeep reduced by 10% and naval capacity increased by 20% in Supremacy.
Okay.
So it will help you get a larger fleet because you can pay for it and you can have a larger naval capacity. And both of those lead to the War Games one, or Combat Variable Mitigation as it's called here. Larger fleet, command limit, and admiral level cap. And on this side we have ship fire rate, bombardment damage, because we like to bomb things.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes, always.
Great game. Starbase damage, very unique modifier, doesn't exist anywhere else. Very good.
Okay, so that's going to be quite enticing for a lot of people now.
Yeah, if you want to defend, or if you feel like you need to defend that choke point or something, this is a great tradition to get.
Okay. And I don't know whether this is something that we've discussed previously, but someone was asking like the cost of getting incremental, traditions. Does that now increment in terms of like the cost of them, or is it fairly linear?
I mean,
is it like an exponential growth?
Yeah, the formula for how we unlock them hasn't changed that much, if at all. Maybe we've tweaked the cost a little bit. I think we've only tweaked the base costs. I don't think we've changed the scaling formula.
Okay, cool. I know that it's come up in the chat like a couple of times, just people mentioning it. So I thought I'd, get the answer for you guys.
Here's a swapped one. Instead of diplomacy, we have versatility, because we're also a determined exterminator. Some of these might be different.
Okay.
But we do have form federation, but as previously, we can only form it with other machine empires.
Right. Yeah.
Because as determined exterminators, we don't trust creatures made of
of
weak
flesh and bone and organics.
Exactly.
Meat bags.
Can't be trusted. They tried to kill us previously, after all. Achieve mod points as before. You use less housing for your pops. You can efficiently, cram more pops on one planet without having to build more districts of a certain type. Pretty useful, actually.
See, I'm looking at all these now and I'm thinking which I would go for. And I can't decide because it's so difficult to pick now. There's so many useful things spread across all the different trees, and I'm just sat here going, I want them all.
Yeah, it is a little bit harder now. Some people that are wondering about the market fee for determined exterminators, that means that affects your internal market.
Right, okay.
Because I'm not sure what Martin's been talking about, but there's a difference between the internal market and the galactic market.
Okay.
The internal market will be more expensive to trade on. So, and some empires like exterminators or purifiers might not get access to the galactic market at all.
Right.
So they always have to use the internal market. Yeah.
Which again makes sense. They don't trust and are probably not trusted by the rest of the galaxy anyway. So
exactly.
It makes a lot of sense that no one would want to trade with them.
And speaking of the market, we noticed that we have food here. Because food isn't necessarily useless. We don't start with any districts, but we can build them if we want to.
Right.
Because we can, I'm not sure, there's a building for it, Bioreactor here, that consumes food and converts it into energy.
Okay, there we go.
So
I don't remember if we've shown this previously.
Maybe not, but now we're showing it.
But it's, people wanted to see more about the machine empires, and this is one of the things. So yeah, it's like a trade-off, so that if you're not using the food for anything, you do have a funnel for it to actually still be useful.
Yeah. It might be, you might want to produce food as a Gestalt empire just to be able to sell it, or as a machine empire. In case that's something you want to do.
You can definitely do it for trade, right? But you don't have to use it for yourself. You can use it for other games. And I think that Bioreactor can open up a little bit of gameplay as well, so that, let's say, food is really cheap to get hold of, why not just grab a load of that and just throw it in the Bioreactor?
You can build a lot of bioreactors and keep buying food or something like that.
Yeah.
What were we doing? Yeah, we're looking at stuff.
So the one question that's come up is the Bioreactor also available for other empires besides the machine empires?
I can't remember, but I think they're available for the regular ones as well.
Yeah. I'm guessing that would come up through research for other empires, as opposed to maybe starting off with it, perhaps?
I can't remember right now, but it might.
Cool.
It might.
Okay. Something that might come up in future then, guys.
Yeah. Here's something with... I should actually switch over to check the adaptability one.
Yeah.
But versatility here is like whenever you demolish a building or district, you get a refund. So you become a lot more efficient at sort of adapting your economy if you want to, which is pretty useful because districts and buildings, they do cost a lot of minerals right now. So Yeah.
Okay. So you can very, very quickly adapt your empire to suit your needs without incurring like the full cost.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yes, very
No, I do that
different.
quite often.
Discovery. Here's the big difference here is, I guess, in the adoption effect.
Before we go on, how big of a change is Discovery? Because I know many people on stream I've watched use it like as one of their first ones, and it's something that I use early on as well.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a massive shock to our system here?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Cool.
One of the things we've done with like the adoption effect, instead of it being anomaly discovery chance, it's now anomaly research speed. The reason for that being because I didn't like the idea that anomalies, you know, as a mechanic, you experience it completely differently if you have this or not.
Okay.
Because that means like, oh, you get to enjoy 10% more content if you have this than if you don't. It sort of like felt a little bit weird. So it's better to try to balance like the amount of anomalies you get as a baseline, and then, you know, change this to like, oh, you can actually research anomalies faster now,
right?
Which is actually useful.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think this is one of the trees that has received the least amount of reworks. Because something we always want to do is like make this tree more long-term viable as well.
Right.
Which is sort of why we've made it more cheap for you to have a lot of researchers. Because researchers are expensive right now.
Yeah, I know. Like, from my personal playstyle, I don't know about everyone else, but Discovery is one of the first few trees that I go into, and I put some points into there, but I never really go all the way into it until much later. I don't know whether that's hampering myself, but I just don't tend to enjoy some of the later ones. As my playstyle adapts from early game to mid game to late game, I then switch trees to something else completely. So is that something that you wanted to address in terms of changing the Discovery tree?
Sort of, but I would still like. I'm still not entirely happy with it, so I might still make some more changes to it.
Okay.
Because I would like a little bit more like long-term stuff. I would like to do something with assist research one, for example.
Right.
But yeah. I'm gonna jump into a Gestalt one. Sorry, Hive Mind. So that we can see if there's anything unique with those. Just take these fancy Ixildar or whatever they're called.
Yeah, like DJ Truth says, Discovery is always my first tree, direct finish, and take tech ascendancy every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a way that a few people that I know also play like this, and yeah, we're always trying to think, you know, long term as well.
Yeah, but like I said, like all this stuff, it's not final yet.
Of course.
Because like all the traditional reworks is, you know, just changing everything that doesn't work to something new that actually works with the new systems.
Right.
But you know, as we keep playing and balance testing it, when we get more features reworked, you know, we might change or swap out more stuff.
Right. And I know a few people were talking about the Ascension perks, and it's something that we're not going to be discussing like in too much detail, if at all, in this stream, because it does relate to unannounced, kind of ties into some unannounced content later on, doesn't it? So it's kind of something that, you know, it's even still being worked on right now, more so than the other parts of the traditions. So I just wanted to put that out there. It does need a little bit more work before we can show it. So yeah. I
just mentioned one of them, like the Imperial Prerogative, that now increases admin cap by 50.
Right.
For example.
But we'll be looking at Ascension perks later down the line. I'm sure Martin's dying to talk about them in future streams as well. So.
Yeah. I'm just gonna run through these. Okay,
so
here we have adaptability, for example.
So we've switched over now.
Yeah, here Hive Mind.
Cool.
We have adaptability. Similar to versatility, also reducing housing usage, I think, if I remember correctly. The Federation, because we're not devouring swarm. Gene mod points. Here we have habitability. We have terraforming cost, and we have resettlement cost. And then the finisher gives you one additional free building slot, actually, which is pretty useful.
Damn,
so
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
How much have we talked about the tile system? Quite extensively, actually. We had several dev diaries. Four dev diaries. That was right, because
to planetary work, I think.
That's it. So, so we have already gone over a lot of this.
Yeah. For example, like you know, here if
so
I
hopefully
adopted
people aren't too confused as to what that means.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if we had unlocked that tradition, we would unlock this slot, for example, or added a new one rather. So it allows you to, by finishing the adoptability ones, that allows you to build more buildings, which is super useful.
Yeah.
Let's see, was there anything else I didn't show off with the hive minds? Just gonna check through them. Can't remember. Someone will screenshot it and put it on the forums, I guess, if they see something interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's veering off topic a little bit, but Paizo Rogue says how developed a homeworld's going to be at the start. I mean,
you can see here, we have 34 pops working 34 jobs.
It's pretty good right now.
We have amenities, we have housing, stuff like that. Because although like HiveMind doesn't necessarily build a house to live in for the drones, it still, like, you know, represents some sort of at least sleeping area where the drones are resting or something like that. Right.
Just basically a docking bay recharge unit type thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, that's a good question. So, as we were talking about, if you unlock a free building, will it be a free building slot, or will it just progress to the next stage? So will it progress to the 35?
No, it's adding a free one.
So it adds a free one, and then you can still unlock at the next milestone as before, right?
Correct. We will still unlock the next one at 35.
So there you go, Verx 909. Cool.
Do we have any more cool questions?
We always have cool questions from our community. The building mentioned in the expansion tree, where you now need 5 just instead of 10 pops.
Right.
So that was regarding the Gestalt consciousness, I believe.
Let's see if we can...
Screen hacks. Yep, we're not talking about the release date just yet. We're not ready to announce when that will be, I'm afraid. Sorry, guys. But I mean, we'll be talking about it more and more. We've still got a whole bunch of stuff to show you and to go in the development diaries. So watch this space. Pun not intended. Soon TM. Yes, thank you, Swan. Can we face big unemployment because every job, especially the lower ones, are taken? So, I guess having too many pops for the jobs available for them.
Sorry, what was the question?
It's just scrolling off the screen now, but the question was, can we... there we go, from Sergeant Vilcoyote. Can we face bigger unemployment because every job, especially the lower ones, are taken?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, if you don't have any jobs, they will be unemployed.
So you have to balance the amount of pops you have versus the jobs available within the empire or the planet.
Yeah. I mean, and then you can, for example, enact like social welfare, which will remove the penalties from having unemployed pops. Right. But if you have unemployed pops, otherwise, you know, they will create they will be unhappy. They will reduce the stability on the planet.
Right.
They might increase crime, stuff like that.
So again, it's a balancing act between growing at a rate that is that you have the infrastructure to support.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you're gonna. It's not impossible, but you're gonna run into problems.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna run into penalties at some point.
And POP will always promote up to a higher strata of jobs.
Right.
So like an unemployed worker will be able to take the job of an administrator immediately and will sort of level up to that.
Okay.
But if a ruler becomes unemployed, they will not demote to a lower strata immediately. They will take some time.
Right. They won't lower themselves to taking a lower strata job.
A mining job, for example.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
They will
that's
take some
what happens in the real world.
Exactly.
You have some time where you're unemployed, and after a while you get a bit more desperate.
Yeah.
And you have to drop down a few tiers.
Exactly. And unemployment, reduces happiness of the POP.
Right.
And you don't want unemployed rulers, unhappy rulers, because the higher strata you are, the bigger effect you have on reducing stability on the planet.
Right. So again, you've got to keep the people at the top happy as well.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of more political power and sway. So
yeah,
having a lot of unhappy ruling class citizens will probably not be a great idea.
/ planet system changing at all. So primitive jobs or planet system, is that changing at all? I mean, I don't think we've really touched on that.
I don't think we've talked about it, but yeah. Like I can't remember the specifics, but I do know that there are primitive jobs, for flavor, like hunter or gatherer or whatever, depending on the civilization you're in.
Cool. Blacksmith.
So yeah, so if you find a sort of a Stone Age primitive, sort of if that's the lowest one, I can't remember, the least tech one, they might have like hunter-gatherers.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So me as Bob Zero asks, what are some of the things that could cause your rulers to become unemployed? They will only become a ruler in the first place if a job slot is available. Can that job slot go away later?
Yeah,
I guess being replaced, or
if you destroy the building or something like that.
Yeah.
But we don't have like jobs that are like, for 5 months how I want more administrative job.
Yeah.
We don't do that so much because it would probably be
so
really
it would have to be
bad.
a massive change to your infrastructure that becomes
something
an issue.
A decision you intentionally
Yeah.
made.
Okay.
Like, I'm ruining a building or I'm changing something.
Excellent.
Something like that.
There you go, folks.
Chance of finding an alien force.
That's Harlot again. The chances are at 0.
Let's see, do we have any cool questions?
Can we create custom jobs from Aurelis?
How do you mean? Like,
so mentioning jobs, can we create custom jobs? I mean,
no, not in the game.
Not in that sense of you create a job as, artisan bookmaker or something really weird, but obviously you're creating jobs by creating the infrastructure for these jobs to become available.
But there's no custom jobs in the main game, the vanilla game. You can obviously make a mod. It's very moddable, the system.
Exactly.
Like the new economy system and like how the jobs work and stuff, it's super moddable. Like it's dynamic categories for everything. It's great.
Cool.
So it's going to be really exciting to see what modders make with the new system once it's out.
Yeah. And as we get ready to wrap up in the next few minutes, I guess, I just wanted to ask this question because I know modders are a huge part of what we do. Are we going to be touching on things for modders in the future, like in a dev diary or maybe a stream, like looking at what is going to be available for modders with
I believe there's a modding dev diary planned.
Okay, cool. If not, can we make one? If it's not planned?
Probably.
Because I know the modding community are they're loving what they're seeing right now.
Yeah.
And I think if we throw out some cool stuff for them, I think that will just create even more really awesome mods that, because I like some of the mods.
Yeah, I am fairly sure that there will be a modding dev diary at some point in the future.
Gobble says we're all loving it. Well, thank you very much, Gobbles.
Nice.
Loving you too. Oh, I think he meant, can we rename jobs? For example, making our rulers senators, or researchers mystics, etc.
I think I remember Martin talking about that. I can't actually remember if I can do it myself, but he was talking about that. So maybe that's something he's like has on his wish list if he's got the time to do it, to fix it.
I mean, a lot of these things we probably already have on our wish list. It's just, can we do it in time to actually release the game?
Yeah.
Because if we went down our wish list, like everyone on the dev team, everyone on the production team and everything, it would get to the point where we'd be developing this game for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Like our wish list is huge. So
but like if we don't have that functionality, if we don't make it by release, it's very likely that it will end up being added in at some point.
Yeah.
Because we have added in the functionality to rename all the planets. And
exactly.
Stuff like that,
we have renaming of pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't make it into like the launch of 2.2, then I can see it definitely being something that we do later down the line. But yeah. Good suggestion, by the way. I will be keep putting that into like the sentiment reports I send to you guys, just to make sure that, for my own sake and everyone here, that we have it in the game.
Yeah, we will be releasing 2.2 with Half-Life 3.
Wow, don't troll the community like this, please.
Well, someone wrote it in chat. I take no responsibility.
I mean, Half-Life 3 confirmed. Now, see what you've done. You've brought attention to it.
Let's see.
What about this one from Neuranon?
The factions stay focused on ethics. Mostly, yes. I don't think we've made that many significant changes to factions, but maybe a little bit. But I can't remember on top of my head what they are.
Perhaps a few tweaks. Again, that's likely something that will be touched on a little bit more in depth later.
Because I don't have it in my head, I'm not going to open and show it, because I don't know what state it is in, if it's something being worked on.
Right. Thank you, Hotshot Demon.
For some reason, some of the console commands didn't work right now, so...
so we were having to go through manually, right?
Yeah. Someone was asking earlier, if we couldn't... if they weren't upgradable. But yeah, I think that that's what Martin wrote earlier or teased about, is they don't have the shelter level.
Right.
But the actually I can't remember what it says here, because if it doesn't say colony shelter here, then it's gonna be fixed to you require 5 less pops to upgrade to the next level or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so Wiz said last stream, I see. Yeah, he would like factions to be changed. Yeah, again, this is something that is obviously in discussion still within the development team, which is one of the reasons why we're not ready to give a release date or anything like this, because a lot of these features are still under very heavy development. You guys are working round the clock to make this happen, and what we're showing so far is just some amount of the work that's going into Le Guin and 2.2. So yeah, massive props to you guys in the dev team. You have been doing insane amounts of work to the game, and I'm kind of excited to see people playing this and dig into every tiny detail that we just can't possibly cover in all of our dev diaries and all of our streams. Yeah. Because there are things that we may consider minor that someone in our community just goes into and just goes, "Oh my god, this is freaking amazing."
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm just wondering if anyone has any last questions with the traditions or something like that before we wrap this up.
Hey, Midkey. I saw your message earlier, sorry. Hey, Dennis.
No questions? Maybe we should wrap this up then.
Yeah. So, do you have any final notes to say on the traditions that maybe you didn't get time to write in the dev diary because you were a bit rushed?
Well, I think generally, like if someone would review the stream, I think we like went through and looked at all of the traditions. Maybe I can just switch to a devouring swarm really easy, quickly. Sorry.
Yeah, let's
see
do that.
If there's something
see if there's any
different.
questions coming through.
Oops.
Aspec's asking whether we're going to put in more traditions, like 2 different trees for expansion, for instance. I don't think that's within the plans right now, is it?
No. There's no plans to like expand the amount of trees you can choose from at one specific point.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons. But I have been thinking about like what we can do in terms of like increasing the amount of different choices you have. But I'm not going to promise anything.
Yeah, of course.
I'm thinking about it.
we are not promising anything like that. Anything that we're showing is up for change, and we're not going to be promising anything in the future.
Yeah.
Just because we can't promise something that we don't know is going to come through, and we don't want to lead you guys on with false claims and whatever else. So
cool.
Anything like that. All right, so
let's see.
Martin promised us trade routes. Can we see one? Now, I mean, I think Martin's going to be... Hopefully he'll be well enough to stream next week. I think he had a few more things that he wanted to show off. So we'll keep you posted on whether he's feeling better next week. And hopefully he can, show some of the things that he had planned and what he promised to show in future streams. But at the minute I can't say for sure because he might be ill for a little while. I don't know.
Yeah, probably next week. Like he'll probably show it if he was talking about it.
Hopefully he's makes a quick recovery because we love having him around and he likes to show off things to the stream. So it's all cool. Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. So just to let you know again, the dev diary that we've been kind of going over the contents of here is live on the forum now. You can get to it through the launcher, and it will be going up on Steam in a short while once I get out of this stream. So I need to publish it there manually. And do you have any closing comments that you would like to say to our adoring fans?
No.
No. Other than thank you, because like some of the feedback we've already got has been really great. And keep posting on the forum thread. Hope Martin feels better soon, and we'll be keeping an eye on the threads and the discussions around this and seeing what kind of feedback comes out of it. So far it's been pretty good. Give us things to think about and give us things that you'd like to see, and we'll do what we can with the feedback we get. But otherwise, see you next time.
See you next time.